A year's worth of preparation, hard work, and performance has come down to this: the 2009 SEC Gymnastics Championship. And once again, the Georgia Bulldogs had their eyes on another title for retiring coach Suzanne Yachtland. But the conference is stacked with quality athletes and coaches. The winner will be considered a favorite for the national championship. The 2009 SEC Gymnastics Championship is next. It is championship season once again, and today in the Music City, capital of the world, Nashville, Tennessee, the Sommet Center, normally reserved for NHL hockey, welcomes the top gymnast in the country to Nashville for the 2009 SEC Gymnastics Championship. Hello again, everybody. Alongside Lori Strong-Ballard, Bernie Gunther. A pleasure having you with us for these SEC Championships. So, Lori, seems like we're at the Gwinnett Center. We're in North Little Rock. We're in Birmingham. But for the first time, these Gymnastics Championships are in Nashville.
Nashville is known more for its country music than gymnastics, but what a great introduction they will have to the sport. 6 of the 7 teams here are ranked in the top 11, including the defending SEC champions, the Georgia Bulldogs. They've won the last 4 straight national titles, and they hope to send out their head coach, Suzanne Yachtland, with a bang and her 17th SEC title. They say it may be emotional here, but they're focused on the task.
Our emphasis is on what we need to do to win this championship. And no one's talking about, it being the last SEC. It's not just the last SEC championship for me. My gosh, it's the last SEC championship for every senior in this meet. And there's a lot of emotion for all of the athletes competing as well.
Well, and speaking of last year's championship at the Gwinnett Center, it's one of the tightest SEC battles we've ever seen. Georgia winning it by the narrowest of margins over Florida and Alabama.
Georgia won by a mere .025. That is less than a deduction for a wobble. And I spoke to Alabama's head coach, Sarah Patterson, and she says that this year, top to bottom, this competition may be even closer.
I think you saw 3 teams within .025 of a point. I think this year there could be 6 teams that are within tenths of a point of each other. And I think that experience last year was an awesome one. You'd like to come out on the winning end of it, but to go out and know that you've done your best and you've just laid it all on the line, I don't think I could have asked anything more of our team. So if we could have that type of performance, I would be exceptionally proud.
Well, there's been a resurgent Alabama Crimson Tide team. What an up and down year they've had, but they're certainly peaking at the right time. But as far as the Florida Gators are concerned, they have been bit by the injury bug in their play going to this championship.
Well, Florida took a big hit recently when the SEC floor champion, Amanda Castillo, partially tore her Achilles tendon. She is out for the rest of the season. And one of their top all-arounders, Corey Hartung, has a 3rd-degree strain of her calf muscle. She may not be able to do all 4 events. So Florida is shorthanded. They may only be able to put up 5 athletes on some events. That means for them, every score will count. But now the door is wide open for LSU, who's been red hot lately. They are ranked 4th in the country right now and led by Ashley Claire Kearney, the defending SEC all-around champion.
And don't forget about Auburn and Arkansas. Those 2 teams having their best years ever in gymnastics. What a championship it is going to be here in 2009. We will kick things off. 6 out of the top 11 teams in the country are here in Nashville. And we'll have rotation 1 when we come back. Back in Nashville for the 2009 SEC Gymnastics Championship. Some anxious moments for the gymnasts yesterday with a competition draw. Of course, 7 rotations. Each team gets 3 buys, and everybody wants to find out where they will start.
Well, many coaches and athletes believe a good rotation draw will help build momentum. Others say, hey, we got to do 4 events and 3 buys, no matter which way you put them. In the end, Alabama got the luck of the draw. It's their home meet rotation, starting with a buy, then going to vault and finishing up on floor. LSU starts the day on floor, usually a strong event for them, but it has been their nemesis this year. Florida has a good draw starting on vault and finishing on floor. That means that they can make some key decisions in terms of their lineup on that final rotation. And Georgia, they drew beam first, a tough event to start on, especially if you're nervous.
But they are the top team in the country on beam. They posted 3 perfect 10s as we take a look at what we will see here in rotation 1. But we'll start with the Georgia Bulldogs, who are already off to some struggles. Hillary Morrow fell on this first pass.
This is amazing. First competitor up for Georgia on their first event. And Hillary Morrow falls on her tumble series, the back handspring layout. That certainly adds the pressure onto these athletes who are already feeling it in this pressure cooker meet.
A score of 9.3 posted by Hillary Morrow. This is Cassidy McComb.
Cassidy was the freshman of the year last year, but she has struggled with injuries throughout this season so far. And to focus and prepare for her tumble series here. Back handspring, one arm back handspring, layout, and oh wow.
My goodness.
Georgia's second fall in as many routines tonight.
So that means that the Bulldogs will have to count a fall here in rotation 1.
This is absolutely amazing. Georgia's ranked #1 in the country on beam. You mentioned that earlier. They also have 3 athletes in this lineup, different athletes who have scored perfect 10s this year. This is normally a great event for them.
Georgia, the #1 team of the country. They've won 16 SEC titles, 9 NCAA titles. And this is going to make it awfully difficult for them right away to defend their title. We've only seen 2 competitors.
This changes everything, not only the mindset and strategy of Georgia, but the rest of the teams here as well.
And imagine the pressure for the other competitors that still have yet to go on beam. Georgia has not posted a solid score yet.
Now, you know, the equipment here is up on a podium. That's a raised surface, and many of the athletes and coaches mentioned that it was a little bit bouncier up there, especially on the balance beam tonight. And when you're dealing with a triple flight series like this, your timing needs to be dead on. And if you're dealing with a bouncy beam and you're a little bit crooked, it just really exaggerates the mistake.
So back-to-back low scores posted by Georgia to begin their competition. We move to the vault and Miranda Smith for the Florida Gators, and the pressure will be on the Florida Gator gymnasts all day long because of injuries.
We are very short-handed. We're doing 5 on just about every event, and everyone that understands that that's not an ideal situation to be in. But you know, we are again trying to look at it in a positive way that our athletes have become closer. You know, they are so supportive of one another, and we're full of fighters. I mean, we would have never even imagined that we'd be even right now ranked 6th in the country with what's gone on, and they just keep fighting.
5 vaulters have 10-0 start values, but they have 1 vaulter with a much lower start value just to get some kind of score, so they need to be dead on here. They cannot afford a fall. Yurchenko layout full. Well done, just a little hop on the landing. That is a 10-0 start value.
Smith, the 16th best vaulter in the country.
Miranda started at UCLA in 2006, and after an injury, retired from the sport, came back last year to compete for Florida this time. And boy, if they needed her this year, and she has responded by giving them her best gymnastics ever.
For the 8th time this season, a 9.85 or higher. And we move to the floor for the first time today in Susan Jackson. She's had quite a junior year. She's claimed 15 individual titles, 3 all-around championships, and she's currently 5th in the all-around.
Got some big tumbling, opening with a front double twist to a front pike. Difficulty and combination bonus. As we mentioned earlier, LSU has struggled a little bit on floor, mainly with the landings on their tumbling passes. I talked to Dee Dee earlier, and she said, but maybe it is a good event to start on because it's one of those events that you can really go all out on. You're not dealing with the nerves like you would on bars or beam.
And being an event that you typically finish up a meet with, obviously you're about as fresh as you can be here for this final pass.
Fresh legs on floor is always a bonus. The floor routine is about 1.5 minutes long, and it's pretty intense in terms of the endurance required. The Tigers have 4 hits so far. Susan Jackson has a great routine going here. Full turn with leg at horizontal. Just her final tumbling pass to come. Double pike, good, solid landing, almost a stumble there, but she covers it nicely. Another great routine for LSU.
A great start for the Tigers on the floor.
The tumbling is difficult from start to finish in this routine. She starts with an E forward tumbling pass, a front double twist, so she gets difficulty bonus for this element as well as connection bonus because she adds the front pike to it. Her routine is pretty polished. She's done a much better job over the last couple of years, really fine-tuning things and cleaning it up.
And a great score of 9-9. When we come back, the battle for the all-around championship. Ashley Claire Kearney, the defending champion, takes the floor. A great crowd of Wildcat fans making their journey down from Lexington here to Nashville for the 2009 championship, and Natalie Rubenstein's team coming off a season-high 196-225 at Alaska. And Bo Mitchell says the team is peaking at the right time.
I think we're getting together. We're much better than we were in the beginning of the season, even midway through the season, but we still need to come together and put it all together, and maybe that's what we're doing, peaking at the right time. So hopefully that's what my team will do.
You work hard all year in hopes that it all comes together right now in the postseason. And Mo's been very complimentary of his senior leadership on this team, and that is who has helped this team get through some of the ups and downs this year.
Natalie Rubenstein has led the Wildcats 10 times on the bars this season, and coming off a 2-year hiatus, coming off a knee injury, she's performed well here in her senior season.
You can see the knee brace on right now. This is her only event that she competes, doing a hop full into a double back, over rotates the landing just slightly there, big hop, about a 1 to 2/10 deduction. But another strong routine for her. She's been so consistent for them on this event. And she wasn't even sure if she was going to be able to come back and do the sport, and she says that she feels blessed to be out there competing this year, her senior season.
Yeah, the Wildcats wrap up rotation number 1 with back-to-back 9.775s.
You can see she has a little bit of concern for her knee every time she takes the landing of that dismount. That goes through her mind.
Mo Mitchell, a big hug for her senior Natalie Rubenstein, competing on the bars for the Wildcats. And another athlete battling injuries. This is Corey Hartung, the senior from Irwin, Pennsylvania. This is her first vault since February 20th.
She has a 3rd-degree strain of her calf muscle, and keep in mind, this is one of the toughest events on the calf, on the legs. Yurchenko 1.5, and she nails the landing. Absolutely outstanding effort. What a tough gymnast.
A brilliant vault by Corey Hartung.
Just have one shot at this event. It's one skill. So Yurchenko tucked 1.5, a little bit of a deduction for the form of her legs when her hands hit the vaulting table, but the landing was absolutely amazing.
A season best 9-9 after taking off nearly a month of competing on the vault. And for the first time today, Courtney Kupets. She's won both the NCAA and SEC all-around titles, the #1 gymnast in the country in the all-around, and last year she missed these championships because of a torn Achilles.
Now Georgia already has 2 falls on this event. We talked about the impact it had on the score, but it also affects the athletes who follow that, their confidence. But for Courtney, it doesn't seem to faze her. What an amazing competitor, nailing her triple flight series back handspring layout.
Well, if Kupets was to fall here, the dreams of a championship are effectively wiped away right here in rotation 1.
Absolutely. Georgia's in quite a hole right now. They're going to have to fight really hard in the final 3 events to get out of this hole. But it's not all thrown away right now. They need this hit. Absolutely. She's one of the 3 athletes on this team who have scored a perfect 10 on this event. Going into a combination, into the dismount, switch leap, gainer layout, into a gainer full, nails the landing. She did not look one bit affected by the nerves that have taken over this Georgia team so far. Beautiful job. There's the switch leap. This is a very unique combination. She does 3 skills directly connected to the dismount. The dismount itself, that gainer full, is not huge difficulty, but because she connects the other elements, that's pretty big time.
What a start for Courtney Kupets, a 9-9. Of course, Kupets looking for the SEC all-around title as she challenges Ashley Claire Kearney, who is looking to defend her title here at these 2009 championships.
I mean, it'd be nice. I would love to defend the title, but I can't fixate on that. I can't think about that, because then I start thinking, what did I do last year to get to this point? What did I do? And that was last year. So this is a new year. I'm going to step up in the competition, be excited, make sure I'm calm and relaxed, and I hope I could come out on top again. That'd be great.
Without a doubt, the #1 priority for every athlete here is the team competition, but an all-around victory would be a nice little bonus. And Ashley is capable of the 9-9s and 9-9-5s on 4 events, just like Courtney Kupets, though. Oh, beautiful opening pass, a double layout. She does that skill like nobody else in this competition.
Well, what a career it has been for Ashley Claire Kearney. She has 109 career individual titles.
Second tumbling pass is a double pike and a clean landing. So far, LSU has been quite strong on floor, just a few minor landing deductions, and right now they have a score in that 9-6 range, something that they can throw out if Ashley Claire Kearney can get a higher score and do what she's done all year on this event. She is ranked #1 in the nation on floor.
Yeah, she really has a great time out there.
You can hear her teammates screaming on the sideline. Before she went up, they were chanting ACK. They've been very engaged and high energy throughout this apparatus. It's an important event for them to hit. Finishing big time. Excellent routine. No falls for LSU on floor, and this will be a huge anchoring score for them.
What a start for Ashley Claire Kearney as she looks to defend her title.
I love this extremely difficult opening tumbling pass. It's a double layout, and Ashley is a little bit of a taller athlete, and that makes this skill a little bit more difficult, but that much more impressive as well.
And look at the Tigers. They are excited. Look at this score for Ashley Claire Kearney, a 9.95. And what a start for LSU on the floor after all their struggles this season.
LSU very nicely stayed on their feet on the floor. Florida came through injuries and all with 5 solid vaults, but Georgia faltered on one of their best events. This changes the big picture quite drastically. Georgia has a lot of catching up to do.
Tiger fans on their feet as Auburn getting ready to take the floor for the first time today. We'll have rotation 2 from the Sommet Center when we come back. Back in Nashville, what a year it has been for Arkansas and co-head coaches Renee and Mark Cook. Having one of the best seasons in school history, and after rotation 1, it's Florida in the lead over LSU.
And you can see Georgia at the bottom there. They have a bye in rotation 2. It's probably a good thing for them. They can go back and bring through.
Well, last year there was no hiccups for Georgia at the Gwinnett Center. Just an hour away from Athens, they were sharp from start to finish.
In the closest SEC championships ever, Ashley Claire Kearney took home the all-around title, and Florida had the chance to win it in the final rotation on beam, but with one fall, that became their undoing.
Georgia, the 2008 champion, by .025 ahead of Florida and Alabama. And as we head to rotation 2, you see Alabama. They will start on vault as they make their first appearance here in 2009. Auburn will start on bars, and the Tiger head coach Jeff Thompson feels this 2009 championship could be even closer than it was last year at the Gwinnett Center.
I think this meet's wide open. You know, even though Georgia went through the regular season undefeated, you know, they had their moments where they weren't Georgia. You know, we beat LSU and Arkansas this year, and LSU and Arkansas beat Alabama and Florida this year. So, I mean, it's wide open from what I'm hearing. Some of the other teams have some injury problems, maybe some illness. That's going to even everything out. And it's really going to come down to, you know, the teams that are most consistent are going to be on top of the podium.
And leading a great year for Auburn is senior Lindsey Puckett. What a great season she's having. She's competed all around in every competition. She's ranked 4th in the nation right now. She looks more confident and polished every time out. This routine doesn't have one of those major, difficult, risky release elements, so it's important for her to hit all of her handstand positions and all of those pirouetting elements in that vertical position. A good job so far. And she needs to get this final handstand within 10 degrees of vertical. It's close. And the dismount, just a hop on the landing. Pretty good, clean routine, but to get in that 9-9 range, she still needs one of those major release elements like a Tkachev or a Jaeger. There's a look at the dismount, just slightly under-rotated, had to take a tiny hop, about a 10th deduction.
Lindsey Puckett, a 9.850 for the Auburn Tigers.
Good job, Lynn.
And we see the Alabama Crimson Tide for the first time today. Alabama has finished either first or second 18 times over the last 25 years at these championships. And first up, their freshman, Ashley Priest.
Oh, excellent, Yurchenko full. You could hear her explosive pop off that vaulting table.
Alabama returns 3 champions, and they've added this 7-year member of the USA national team.
And this is my pick for Freshman of the Year. She has won Freshman of the Week 5 times this season. She's had some ups and downs, maybe a few struggles with her landings, but today it was pretty solid, just a tiny hop. She's definitely the most talented newcomer in this conference.
Great start for the freshman, a 9-9. And for Arkansas and co-head coach Renee and Mark Cook, what a memorable year it has been for the Hawks.
Well, the year's really gone according to, a plan that you want to have in place as far as where we're at by the end of the season. We would like to jump up a teeny bit more in the rankings and for postseason, but we've had a very successful year as far as, trying to beat some teams that we had not beat in the past in dual competition. And this team is just a team that really watches each other's backs. They're really tight, and they're pretty consistent to this point. So being consistent and being clean in your gymnastics is half the battle.
And it's been smooth sailing so far for Arkansas in this meet. They are close to a 9.8 average on floor. This is Casey Jo McGee, and she's having a great year. She has more individual titles than any other Razorback in the history of their program.
She was the first gym back to earn a pair of All-American honors a season ago.
Opening with a front double twist, nice and clean on the landing.
Arkansas, of course, the number 9 ranked team in the country. Talked at the onset about their opportunity to finish in the top 3.
Second tumbling pass, a double back, another good landing. Last year, head coaches Renee and Mark Cook were honored as SEC Coaches of the Year. They started this program 6 years ago and have qualified to nationals twice in that time, including a trip to nationals last year. But this year could be their most successful season ever.
Well, their RQS certainly shows that they will be at regionals when those begin after these championships.
Final tumbling pass for Casey Jo McGee. A whip half to a front 1.5. That's called a Rudy. Finishing up her choreography and her routine. Not huge difficulty, but it was clean. Pretty good performance. Nice expression on her face. She's more of a precision tumbler than a power tumbler. She opens with a front tumbling pass, a front double twist. That's an E-level skill. And here she's showing backward tumbling, a double back for a D-level skill.
And her score is the highest posted thus far by Arkansas, a 9.875. When we come back, last year's all-around runner-up, Morgan Dennis. We continue rotation number 2 from the Sommet Center in Nashville, Tennessee, 2009 SEC Gymnastics Championship. And for Kentucky, it's been a pretty good season. They're coming off a season high. They're ranked 22nd in the country, and a big reason, Heather Height, the senior. And she only competes on the beam and on the floor for the Wildcats.
She's been a tremendous leader for this team as a senior. We quite often see her out there on the competition floor, egging her teammates on, giving them some correction. She's almost another coach out there as well as an athlete. Takes a wobble on her front aerial. Dances through this. She probably would have liked to have connected the front aerial to this series back handspring layout. Solid on the layout. That shouldn't affect her start value or her score, except for the deduction for the wobble, because she still meets the requirement of having the 2 acro elements connected with that back handspring layout.
Height is coming off her best mark, a 9.925 at their last dual meet against Alaska.
Switch leap into a gainer layout. Nice combination there. Good difficulty, nice form. 2 connected jumps. Again, taking a little bit of a wobble, but you can see the fight on her face. She's not giving up here. Into the dismount gainer, full sticks the landing, and a big finish for Heather Height. Athletes are required to show a leap or jump in connection that meets 180-degree split. She does that on the switch leap, plus she gets connection bonus by directly connecting it to that gainer layout, which is a D-level skill.
And Heather Height scored 9.750, so a 48.3 for the Wildcats on the beam. And here's Kayla Hoffman. We see her for the first time. She made her vault debut, scoring a 9.9 against Florida earlier this season.
Alabama has some explosive vaults, but they need clean landings. So far, they've been averaging a 9.85 and a beautiful vault by Kayla Hoffman. Kayla had shoulder surgery in the offseason, came back on bars and on vault here late in the season. She's been a big addition to this vaulting lineup with a big vault there, the Yurchenko layout full, maybe a slight pike down before the landing.
And for the 9th time out of 10 tries, a 9.9 or higher for Kayla Hoffman. And here's Morgan Dennis, last year the all-around runner-up. She's currently 12th in the nation representing Alabama.
Those coaches stack their lineups in terms of scoring potential as well as size of the vault. Morgan's is the most explosive in this lineup. Well done on the landing.
What a tremendous start for Alabama on the vault.
This is the same vault we just saw Kayla perform, the Yurchenko full. You see a round off onto the board, a blind reach back. She explodes from her shoulders, good height and distance, and a pretty solid landing.
A big score, 9.95. So that completes rotation number 2. The Gators coming back out on the floor for rotation 3. But so far, it has been the Crimson Tide posting the highest score in any rotation of 49.45. Rotation 3 when we come back. Georgia fans hoping for Suzanne Yachtlin's 17th and final SEC title are going to need to see a tremendous comeback as Georgia will be on the floor here.
Georgia has some ground to make up. They need to be fierce and clean on the landings. LSU and Florida are on their best events, and Auburn's on beam, a good event for them, but they struggled last week.
Here's the freshman for Auburn, Allison Sandusky, out of Brooksville, Maryland.
So far, Auburn has had one fall on the beam. They need to nip it in the bud here. Front aerial, feet land a little bit to the side, but she covers up a potential wobble. Handspring layout, solid, excellent job of being disciplined in that lunge position. You can hear so much going on in this arena, unlike dual meets where usually you have 2 teams going head-to-head and alternating performances. At these championships, though, there are 7 teams and 4 apparatus going at one time. In the middle of your beam routine, a floor team could start. Very loud music. You could hear eruptions of cheers at any given time. You must stay focused, especially on beam. Cat leap into an aerial. Again, excellent job on disciplining her landings. Certainly doesn't look like a freshman up there. Very confident, excellent, all the way through to the landing of the dismount. This is a breakout performance for Allison, her best of the year. And just when Auburn needed it, excellent job here on her layout. That handspring layout, she pushes very strong through her legs. That helps get her legs straight in the air of the layout, and perfect landing.
Sandusky has scored 9.8 for the Auburn Tigers, and here's Melanie Sinclair, the junior for the Florida Gators. Gators only have 5 competitors here on the bars, so Sinclair must hit, but she's had 3 perfect 10s in her career.
The Gators have 3 solid routines so far, and Melanie hit 2 of her major release elements there. The first one, a Hindorf, and then we saw a Ginger. Looking for those vertical positions in handstand and a stuck landing here. The double layout, beautiful stretch position, excellent landing.
Sinclair ranked 6th in the nation on the uneven bars.
Melanie credits her club coach Jeff Woods for her ability on this event. Her Hindorf was probably the riskiest of release elements, but here she does a Ginger in combination, so she gets bonus points for that connection as well.
And the Gators 4 for 4 on the bars so far. Big score 9.95, and the injured Amanda Castillo. Congratulations for Melanie Sinclair. To the vault we go, and Kayla Rogers and LSU's coach Dee Bro has really focused on details here in 2009.
Well, you know, gymnastics, you kind of start with 10 points and you whack away at it, or you start with 0 and you build on it. And every day when we go in the gym, we're now to the point where we feel like we're working on the smaller things, the things that are going to really make a difference in this kind of competition. So you never feel like you're exactly where you want to be, but we have built some momentum to this point, so we feel like we're in a pretty good place.
And it looks like it's working. They're ranked 4th in the country right now, their highest ranking of the season. They are peaking. And Rogers with a Yurchenko full. Nice job of keeping her legs glued together right through to the landing. Kayla only does vault and floor for the Tigers. She's a powerful athlete. She's been scoring in that 9.7, 9.8 range here. But last week she put up a huge 9.9. This vault could be close to that.
Rogers, a 9.85. For Georgia, it is time for Suzanne Yachtlin's crew to make their move. We'll see what they do when we come back to the Sommet Center. It is a special season for the Georgia Bulldogs, the #1 team in the country. And their legendary coach, Suzanne Yachtlin, 1 week ago at Stegman Coliseum, said goodbye as she coached her final home meet.
The last regular season meet was just, it was a culmination of 26 years of emotion. But I've been thinking about this retirement for 2 years, so I was ready for it. And I felt like I could keep it together, and I did pretty much until the very end. It was definitely a day that, you know, you think about for a long time, like a wedding, and then it's over, and it's like the crash is enormous. I could hardly function after the meet in the next few days. That was hard, but, you know, I got my game face on and ready to keep going, keep pushing for championships.
The impact Suzanne's had on collegiate gymnastics has been amazing. She's brought this program from nothing to 16 SEC and 9 national championships. She's touched the lives of many student athletes, including mine. Had some great memories, and she will definitely be missed in the sport.
If Georgia is going to win their 17th SEC title, they're going to need a big move here on floor. Here's Grace Taylor, the junior from Aiken, South Carolina, 10th nationally on this apparatus.
Almost a perfect landing on her opening pass. Grace is wonderful to watch on this event. Choreography is beautiful. Oh, excellent second tumbling pass. She chooses not to take with 2 feet. Only the very best can land like that. Most take the lunge, which wouldn't be a deduction, but that landing is more impressive. Watch Grace's feet. Every time they lift up off the floor, her toes are pointed. Those are the fine details that really make her impressive on this event. A little extra character as she prepares for her final tumbling pass. Georgia's trying to dig themselves out of the hole they created with the first event with 2 falls. Excellent job on her final 2.5 twist. Fantastic routine.
Grace Taylor helping get the Bulldogs back in this competition.
It certainly doesn't look like Georgia's letting up one bit here. They are fighting back. Here's a look at that second tumbling pass. Good stretch in her round off back handspring, and she absolutely nails it without a lunge.
And a big score, a 9.925 for Grace Taylor. Georgia's going to post a huge score on the floor. Here's Susan Jackson, the NCAA vault champion last season.
Performing the most popular vault out there, Yurchenko full. What a fantastic job she does in getting a strong block off that vaulting table. She almost goes about a foot higher than some of the other athletes here. She told us earlier this season she was surprised to win that national title on this event. Mentally, she says it's a little bit scary for her, but you can see physically this apparatus was meant for her. She was powerful and quick.
And a score of 9.875 for Susan Jackson. Lindsay Puckett up next on the beam. Her sister Courtney competed for Auburn, and what a job she's done carrying on that Puckett name for the Auburn Tigers.
Absolutely, 2 sisters who have had a huge impact on this program. Lindsay's having a great year, her best year ever. Her gymnastics is consistent. She's found those routines that work the best for her. Nice job on her back handspring layout. Once again, you can hear the atmosphere in this arena. It's absolutely electric. On beam, you're trying to block out those distractions. Again, they are competing on podium, which means they are up on a raised surface, and then when you're on the balance beam, you are the only one up there, again on a higher surface. It's quite lonely. Straddle jump, back tuck, struggling to find the landing.
Great fight to stay on the beam for Lindsay Puckett.
So it's a difficult dismount planned here. One of the toughest. Round off, double back. Steps on the landing, but an excellent solid routine.
Great way for Puckett to cap off her senior season.
Here's a look at that dismount. The round off is key. It's so important to stay square, to get enough power and a good solid foot placement to get the punch to go into the air for 2 solid rotations.
And a team high 9.8 for the Auburn Tigers. And back to the vault, Ashley Claire Kearney.
With a clean landing, she could score a 10 here. Oh, it's solid. Just the hop on the landing. No 10 tonight, but this will be a big score. Ashley sprained her ankle about a week ago, and she limped through senior night, which was their final home meet. It has been a little bit of a concern, but not a problem on this vault. Impressive.
Still a strong score, 9.9 for Ashley Claire Kearney. And speaking of 10s, Courtney Kupets, she scored a perfect 10 here on the floor against Florida at home earlier this season.
Courtney tore her Achilles tendon last year and the other one in 2003, and both times she was doing a double Arabian, which is still her first tumbling pass. You'll see that coming up here. You know, most gymnasts would hang up that skill after 2 injuries. There it is, double Arabian, not a problem on the landing, maybe just a tiny adjustment. And after the injury, she came back this year and has been the best gymnast in the country pretty much all season.
She's won the all-around 10 out of 11 meets this season.
I believe when all is said and done, Courtney Kupets may go down as one of the best gymnasts ever in collegiate gymnastics. Whip half Rudy into a Shushinova.
She, of course, was a member of the U.S. Olympic team.
I remember heading into those Olympic Games, I had her as an outside favorite to win the all-around at the Olympics. She had a little bit of an injury there as well, I believe to her hip or her hamstring, that limited her. But she still ended up with 2 medals, a silver in the team and on the bars. Final tumbling pass, a solid double pike. Fantastic routine, a little attitude at the end. It was difficult, impeccably clean, and dynamic.
Georgia is going to post a huge score as a team on the floor, especially with this routine.
Courtney had 2 difficult double salto passes, and this is a look at her middle combination pass. Whip half into a Rudy, and she finishes it with a little flare with that Shushinova, and that also helps her avoid any landing deduction.
Kupets received 110 from the judge. Her score will be 9.95. So Georgia bounces back from the beam with a 49.5 on the floor. Georgia's not done defending their championship here in 2009. Back in Nashville as we get set for rotation 4, Amanda Castillo, the 2008 SEC 4 champion, can only watch as the Gators will be on the beam alongside Lori Strong-Ballard. Bernie Gunther with you as we take a look at our scores.
Florida is impressively hanging in there despite only having 5 athletes to compete on bars. Georgia will head to a bye in the next rotation after a strong showing on floor. Good comeback for them.
And we'll see what Alabama could do. They will be on bars here in the 4th rotation. They had a strong start on vault, but first, here's Kentucky and Emily Green.
Kentucky struggled on beam last rotation, and so far on floor, they've had 1 fall and 2 out-of-bounds deductions. And he's trying to get things back on track for the Kentucky Wildcats. Opening with a double layout, very big difficulty. Emily is a very aggressive and quick athlete, and that certainly helps on her tumbling on this apparatus. You can also see it come through in her dance as well. Tumbling pass, double pike, big hop out on the landing, but stays in bounds.
A variety of music in this routine.
The athletes and the coaches always try to choose music that complements their style, the way that they move and dance. Music is classic, yet still very powerful, and it suits her very well. Fast tumbling pass, 1.5 to a front layout. Pretty much nails that landing. Okay, much better job for Kentucky. Good.
Heather Height congratulating Green, who has come through in the clutch for the Wildcats on the floor.
Kentucky has impressed so many this year with their big tumbling skills. I think the last time we saw them, 4 of their athletes did this extremely difficult double layout here that we're seeing Emily Green perform. So their difficulty has come up this year. They just need to be able to clean up some of their skills and their form.
And the score 9.875. Jamie Pisani, the freshman, going for Arkansas now.
Brought a lot to this team this year. She's won 2 all-around titles. Was honored twice this year as Freshman of the Week. Doing the Yurchenko full. Excellent position in the air. Tiny hop on the landing.
So far, Arkansas has averaged 9.8 or higher on their previous vaults.
When I asked co-head coach Mark Cook how they've continued their momentum, how they've gotten better every year, he says, first of all, we get great support from our athletic department, and it's important to recruit up, to continually replace athletes that they lose with better athletes.
Great score, 9.875. Here's Courtney Gladys, 6th consecutive meet that she's led off for the Gators on the beam. And again, Florida in a similar situation. They have 6 athletes, but certainly their strongest 5 going in the first 5 positions.
Their 6th athlete really does not have a lot of experience on this event, so they are depending on their first 5 up to hit. Courtney doing a great job on her tumble series, 2 back handsprings to a layout. And the first up athlete, she has a difficult job of building that confidence, getting a hit right off the bat.
It seemed like the pressure was a positive for Florida on bars.
The bars is their strongest event, their best event, and they did come through even having those 5 athletes. I think they have good experience there as well as great routines, good difficulty. But balance beam has been their nemesis this year. Honda says she struggled in determining the lineup, finding the athletes who can hit under pressure, and Courtney does a fantastic job as their leadoff. A hit routine for Florida. They are required to do at least 2 acrobatic elements directly connected here. Courtney goes above and beyond that with 3 flight elements, 2 back handsprings to a layout. She will get bonus for that.
And a 9.8 for Courtney Gladys. We'll continue our coverage of the 2009 SEC Gymnastics Championship when we come back. Alabama fans getting set to watch the Crimson Tide on bars. They got to see an explosive performance on the vault where they scored a great score of 49.45, and we'll see whether Kayla Hoffman can keep it going here on the bars.
When Georgia came out with 2 falls in their first event, I think the dynamics really changed here. Alabama's chances got even better, and they've been competing like they have nothing to lose. Nice high to Tkachev, hitting her handstand, giant full, finishing on top, well done. Shoot over to handstand. Kayla has beautiful form and body lines on this event. Nice toe point, preparing for the dismount here. Good speed into the double layout, nails the landing. Another strong routine for Alabama. You can really see their confidence building. You know, it's interesting to see her back on this event. She had shoulder surgery in the fall, and I'm surprised to see her back on bars. Actually, head coach Sarah Patterson said beam was her hardest event to get back. It's quite painful to do that narrow hand placement on the beam.
And another big score, 9.925. Here's Michelle Stout, the junior for Arkansas.
Michelle is their anchor and their biggest vaulter. Look at the powerful run, round off, blind reach back, Yurchenko full. Beautiful job of keeping the legs glued together.
Stout is Arkansas's first All-American and first net finalist, and it came on this event.
The judges want to see a good direction coming off this vaulting table with minimal shoulder angle. That will help the athlete get that extra height and the distance required on this vault.
And a 9-9 for Michelle Stout in Arkansas on the vault. And here is Heather Height with her final SEC performance, and possibly the final performance of her career.
As a senior, we talked about her fantastic leadership on this team. Beam is an incredible event for her, but she is phenomenal on floor as well. There we see her opening pass. It's a double pipe. She is capable of doing more difficulty with a double layout, which we saw her perform earlier this season. Looks like they're being a little bit more conservative here. A duck step out to a double twist.
Height has 27 career titles. 11 have come on the floor. 16 have come on the beam. And what a leader she has been for the Wildcats over the years.
On the floor, she is so dynamic. Great personality. I really love her choreography this year. It's dramatic and aggressive. And she has those pretty lines. You're seeing the toe point. The stretching of the ankle every time it lifts up off the floor. Good combination of a double turn with leg at horizontal into a wolf full. Athletes can get bonus points in their dance and leap elements as well. Final pass, she's still going strong. It's like the Energizer Bunny. Amazing, good energy, fantastic routine.
Heather Height with a fantastic final SEC performance.
Without the double layout in that opening tumbling pass, her difficulty is a little bit lower, and that may hurt her score here, especially in such a competitive event like these SEC Championships. But she still had so much energy heading into that final tumbling pass, a quick double back.
A hug from Mo Mitchell and a score of 9.875 for Heather Height. We'll have more Rotation 4 after these messages. Back at the Music City, we continue our coverage of the 2009 SEC Gymnastics Championship. Corey Hartung up next, who returns to the Gator beam lineup after missing the last two meets. With her injured calf, she's ranked 10th in the nation on this apparatus.
And because of that injury, Corey has not been able to train a lot. She's leaning on her experience and all the hard work she's put in throughout the season. You can play with your mind a little bit. Mentally, you have to be strong and know that you can hit this routine. So far, Florida has hit 4 beam routines. They just need one more to call it a solid score. Oh, big wobble on her back handspring layout, but a fight. She stays on. Overall, Florida has been a little bit conservative on this event. And rightfully so, considering their circumstances and the pressure they are under. They simply just want to stay on this apparatus right now.
As you mentioned before, they've really struggled with that this season.
Showing off her beautiful flexibility there, that skill they call the helicopter. No matter what Corey does on this event, she always stands out. Her flexibility and lines are matched by nobody in this meet. Well, perhaps, maybe, Georgia's Grace Taylor. And the dismount. Round off 2.5 twists, takes a hop on the landing. A tough fight from start to finish in this routine. Great job for Corey Hartung.
But most importantly for the Gators, they are 5 for 5 on the beam.
That is huge here. We've seen what a tough event this has been for so many teams, especially Georgia in that first rotation. Here's a look at that back handspring layout. She doesn't look like she had quite enough power there, but what a fight on the landing.
Score of a 9.725 for Corey Hartung. That may take her out of all-around competition for this meet. Ashley Priest up next on the bars. The freshman is ranked 11th in the country on this apparatus.
Alabama already has over a 9.8 average, and when Ashley hits this routine, she can go above that. Toe on full to Tkachev, right down to the low bar. Oh, and she's too close on her pack salto. Takes an extra swing, but no fall there. It's about a 3/10 deduction versus 5/10 for a fall. Good cover up. Nice vertical position in that final handstand. Giant half. That is called a Corkina. She does a little bit different than Svetlana Corkina, so many call it the Priest. And the dismount, double layout, hops out on the landing. A little bit of a struggle mid-routine there. There's a look at the Tkachev. She's almost a little bit too far from the bar. That increases her momentum and swing into the next element, which is called a pack salto. So she's too close to the low bar. Her shoulders go over. She has to take that extra swing.
Score of 9.55. I'm sure plenty of nerves for a freshman. Alabama continues to be the team to beat after they post a score of 49.35 on the bars. Florida, of course, the first team to compete 3 rotations. Georgia back on the floor when we come back to the Sommet Center. We welcome you back to the Music City, capital of the world, Nashville, Tennessee, the site of the 2009 SEC Gymnastics Championships. And Lori, we talked about going in a lot of nerves for Georgia. Of course, they really want to win the championship for Suzanne Yochlin, and it was certainly evident with their performance on the beam.
Well, Georgia had the tough draw of starting on the beam, where quite often we see the nerves get the best of you. Their first 2 up had falls. That put them into a hole early, but they came back for a very strong floor showing. They showed excitement and enthusiasm and were great there. And LSU was fantastic on floor as well. That has been their nemesis all year. They've struggled with consistency on their landings, and today they were right on.
Well, going into the season, Alabama really up and down, but they came into these championships really on a roll, and it was certainly evident as they got off to what a tremendous start the first 2 rotations.
Well, Alabama did a great job of sticking their landings, and in a competition like this, every 10th is going to count, and you could really see their confidence building as they went throughout their bar lineup.
Of course, we told you to look out for either Arkansas or Auburn. They could make a run at the top 3, and right now, Arkansas doing a phenomenal job.
Arkansas's been fantastic, and they've had a great season this year. We talked about this conference being solid top to bottom, and this is one of those teams that could step up, maybe mix things up a little bit. They've already beaten Florida and Alabama this year.
Let's get back to the action here inside the Sommet Center.
Georgia has been more consistent on vault the last 3 or 4 weeks, and they need to be near perfect here to make up some more ground. Alabama heads to beam, that make or break event, and this will tell us a lot.
Marcia Newby. She's averaged 9.8 this season on the vault, a high score of 9.9. She needs a strong score here for the Bulldogs.
Yuchenko half front layout, steps out on the landing, but this is a tough one to nail solid. It is a blind landing, which means she doesn't see the mat before the feet hit. Landing deductions could be big here. If each of the 5 counting athletes take a step like that, that's a loss of a half of a point, the same as a fall deduction.
And you can see the deduction to score 9.850. Rachel Ennis up next on the floor for Auburn. She won the floor in her first dual meet of the season against Illinois Chicago, scoring a 9.9, which was a career high. She'll look to match it here at this championship.
That would be a big-time score for Auburn right now. So far, they've been solid. Good job of keeping that pass in bounds. The athlete can step on that white line, the boundary line. But if they step over it, it's a mandatory 1/10 deduction on top of a landing deduction. It's tough to get those big scores, the 9.9s, the 9.95s, especially in the postseason when the judges get a little bit more strict in terms of their deductions for form and for landing. There's also 4 judges here. In a dual meet, there's only 2 judges, and they average those 2 scores. But in the championships, they have 4 judges. The high and the low are thrown out, and the 2 middle scores are averaged for a final score. So to get those perfect 10s or those high scores, all 4 judges must agree.
Ennis getting ready for her final pass.
There it is, a double back. Great landing. A fun routine and good solid tumbling. She has good power and does a great job in the first tumbling pass of holding it inbound. She sets her direction up nicely into the double pike. That stops her from really leaning back on the landing.
At a score 9.850, we move to the bars in LSU, and if they're going to make a move, it's going to be right here on this apparatus. This is Sabrina Francischelli.
They need to continue to compete with confidence and show consistency here. Miss Yeager, a good job of taking it above the bar. Pack salto, a connection from high to low bar.
Francischelli has 2 career bars titles out of her 3 total.
LSU has continued to show improvement on this event all year. And Sabrina has not missed a routine all season, including this one. She usually scores in that 9-8 range. I think we could see something along that line here. Nice job of getting a good stretch into the dismount. She takes it way above the bar. A little bit of a cowboy position in the air and a step on the landing.
Well, you hit it right on the nose. 9.8 the score for Sabrina Francischelli. Well, if you're looking for athletes that can post big scores, look no further. When we come back, we'll have the Tigers, Ashley Claire Kearney, and the Bulldogs, Courtney Kupets. Back inside the Sommet Center side of the 2009 SEC Gymnastics Championship. What a career it has been for Courtney Kupets. The senior missed this championship last year with a torn Achilles tendon. Her road back has been a long but successful journey.
Before I got hurt, I think last year, my role was just to be there for the team and be that competitor that they could count on. Once I got hurt, it was more, okay, what's my role now? And it took me a little while because we had quite a few meets left.
It was just a day or two when Courtney was over the disappointment and had her mind wrapped around the fact that she was not only coming back, but that she was blessed to have an opportunity to come back.
I mean, the next day, she's just all about pumping everybody else up, no matter what the situation is. That's mainly what I remember is Courtney being so just, come on guys, let's go, we got it the next day. Just really just, you know, it is what it is and we're gonna move on.
She's got something inside of her. She's got a spirit that I've never seen. And it's not just in the gym and in the sport of gymnastics. It's her persona. She takes it with her everywhere that she goes.
Kind of had to separate myself from the gymnastics aspect. And so I turned into like, okay, what can I do for everyone else? What is it that I can do? SECs was, I think, my favorite, where I rolled around on the stool a lot because I don't like crutches and I wanted to do something different, you know, do something funny, do something different. So I rolled around on the stool all the time. People laugh. Anything I could do to make them laugh, make them smile, just get them away from the intense competition.
She redefines the description of perfection, competitiveness, drive, perseverance. I mean, she redefines it for me at a whole nother level.
I might not be doing exactly the same skills and it might be different routines, but it still feels the same and it feels awesome to be competing again.
And this is the only event Courtney has not scored a 10 on. Add that to her to-do list. She's pretty much done everything else in the sport.
Well, this season out of 50 possible titles, she has won or shared 40 of them.
It looks perfect to me. You don't get any better than that. It's the best vault of the night, and Georgia needed a good landing here and a big score. It's a difficult vault with a half turn on the pre-flight, so the precision of that pre-flight is so important to sticking this landing.
And the judges say nearly perfect, a 9.95 for Courtney Kupets. Here's Ashley Claire Kearney. A big reason why LSU is 4th in the country.
Having a great meet so far with a 9.9 and a 9.95. She's tied with Courtney Kupets right now in the all-around. Sky-high to Tkachev. Transition to the low bar with a straddle back to handstand. Toe on, right back up to the high bar. Little bit short on that last handstand. Nails the dismount. Another solid routine. Excellent. She has a huge, impressive Tkachev. That was her release move at the start of the routine, and this dismount is just as big. Way above the high bar. Plenty of time to see the mat and stick the landing.
Big score of 9.9, but it appears she injured her hand.
It could be a rip, which is a big part of this sport on this event, but it looks like it could be her fingernail as well. Nashville still has one more event to go. Physically, this shouldn't be an issue, but mentally, it could be a distraction.
Nashville's put herself in a great position for the SEC all-around title. Lindsey Puckett on the floor for the Auburn Tigers. A top floor score of 9.925 came against Kentucky this season.
Holding it inbounds on her first tumbling pass, a front through to a double back. Auburn's been quietly going about their business all night, just like they've done all year. They are most definitely in the mix, maybe just outside to get a top 3 finish.
Lindsey Puckett won the floor 4 times this season as a senior.
He has scored no less than a 9-9 in the last 5 straight weeks. Great combination pass. Final element was a Rudy. So far, Auburn's been pretty strong on floor. Been consistent and steady today. Final tumbling pass, double pike, legs are glued together, clean landing. Auburn always takes a lot of pride in their performance on this event. Solid, clean tumbling, good presentation. The athletes are competing on a 40 by 40 foot floor. Some of the more powerful athletes have a difficult time staying in bounds there. You can see she's a couple feet from the edge or the corner there. Great job.
Puckett scored 9-9. Let's check out how Alabama has done so far on the beam. They're looking to be the first team to score 49 on this apparatus.
First 3 up were strong, including this routine by Ricky Levergren, the defending SEC champion, for a 9.85, but they got into some trouble here with the freshman Ashley Priest and a scary fall on her full twisting swing down. You simply cannot be crooked on that scale. A painful landing and a painful score.
It's been a rough meet for the freshman. Here's Morgan Dennis looking for that 49 plus for Alabama. She won 3 out of the 4 events she competed in at the championships a year ago, including this apparatus.
She's going to share the title on the balance beam. A handspring layout. Well done. Leaps and jumps connected. That is a requirement. Before each skill, the gymnast repeats the verbal cues, what the coach has been telling them before every skill in terms of technique. Almost a slight wobble out of her front aerial. Absolutely see the focus on her face. She's almost a little bit hesitant up there. I'd like to see a routine look a little more confident and flow. Big dismount. Round up, double back in the tuck position. Steps out on the landing, but it's a hit.
Alabama gets the 5 hits they need on beam.
This has been such a tough event for so many teams here. We mentioned earlier that the beam is a little bit bouncier here, and I think that we've seen some of the athletes struggle with adjusting to that rhythm and the timing and the shakiness of the beam. But today, Alabama's been pretty strong.
Dennis gets a 9.8 and a beam score of 49.025 for Alabama. Here's Tiffany Tolnay for Georgia.
There's a fracture in her foot. They say it will not get worse, but it is painful. They had to pull her out of the floor lineup to see how she takes this landing. Uchenko full, does take the step out on the landing. Again, Georgia really needs to be nailing those landings. They cannot give away 5/10 in deductions for a 10th each athlete on the landing. Nice job in the air. It's a full twisting Yurchenko vault in the laid out position, maybe a tiny pike down in her hips. That accelerates the rotation, and she has to take the step.
And again, a 9.85. Arkansas coming back on the floor for rotation number 6. They will be on the bars in search of their highest finish ever in SEC history. But so far, it has been the Crimson Tide, the team to beat after 5 rotations. We're getting set for rotation number 6 here inside the Sommet Center, and so far It has been the Crimson Tide taking advantage of those early wobbles by Georgia.
Alabama leads by 4/10 over Georgia, but this competition is still pretty tight. And keep in mind, LSU now heads to their final competitive event, the balance beam, and that's been tough on everyone here.
Suzanne Yacklin trying to fire up the crowd. Her Bulldogs will have a bye here in the 6th rotation.
As we mentioned, LSU heads to beam. They need to hit if they want to stay close with the leaders. And Florida heads to floor, where they are missing the SEC floor champion, Amanda Castillo, who we mentioned tore her Achilles tendon. And it is a good news for them that they finish on floor, because they can make a last-minute decision on whether or not to put Corey Hartong in, who also is dealing with that calf injury.
But first, a look at Sarah Nagashima. Remember, Arkansas in contention for their highest finish ever.
They came out really strong on their first 2 events. Now on bars, they've had some struggles. Their 4th athlete up, peeled off. She's okay, but it was a fall. A good hit here by Sarah Nagashima. Good speed into her double layout dismount. She's almost in a hollow position in that first rotation, then gets a fully stretched out position for the second one. She does take the hop back for a 10th deduction.
9.825 the score. Here's Miranda Smith for the Gators.
Miranda has been one of Florida's top scorers on this event, hitting the 9.925 mark twice this season. Miranda opens with a big, difficult tumbling pass, a piked full in. It's almost laid out. Florida has 5 athletes doing the all-around today, including Miranda. It's more than any other team here because they only have a small pool of healthy athletes to draw from. Georgia only has 1 athlete doing the all-around. That's Courtney Capetz. Front full, front layout.
What an impact she's made, especially with those injuries coming from UCLA.
Spoke to Rhonda Fain, the head coach, earlier this season, and she's been so impressed on how strong Miranda has been this year. She's given them so much in terms of her gymnastics, her scores, as well as her leadership. Big routine, big performance for her tonight. Here's a look at that opening tumbling pass. It's an E-level skill, 2/10 of bonus. Full twist in the first rotation, into a back salto in the piked position. 2 flips and 1 twist. Pretty impressive.
A 9-9 for Miranda Smith. What a resilient effort tonight from the skater squad. Here's Emily Green for Kentucky. She's coming off a season high 9.95 at Alaska.
This is Kentucky's last vaulter as a team. This has been their best event today. Yuchenko full, pops out on the landing, but it was powerful, long, pretty good height. They already have over a 49 on this event, and potentially with this score, they will go much higher than that here.
Kentucky, a tremendous performance on the vault. Green scored 9.875. LSU takes the beam when we come back. We continue with rotation number 6 here inside the SoMe Center. Alabama, LSU, Georgia, Florida, Auburn. And Ashley Claire Kearney, she is just 5/100ths behind Courtney Kupetz for the SEC all-around title, looking to defend her title. But what a tough event to finish up on.
Many are concerned when they have to start on beam, but quite often it is beam last. That is the worst case scenario, especially when a team title and an all-around title are on the line. Just focusing before her tumble series. Back handspring layout, and she's way crooked. Not only does her foot slip on that final skill, down the beam she slides for a 5/10 deduction, but she looked pretty unstable, like her ankle rolled when she landed on the mat as well.
That takes Ashley Claire Kearney out of the competition to defend her all-around title, obviously.
Big disappointment for Ashley. She had such a fantastic meet going so far. Up until now, LSU has hit beam, but they have not been super sharp. They almost look like they've been cautious out there. And I think everyone saw that #1 team, the Georgia Gym Dogs, falter on this event first up, and since then, everyone's been really tight.
So not the camp Ashley Claire Kearney was looking for to end her SEC career. And Dee Bro able to comfort her. Of course, plenty more competition still left in the postseason for her and LSU, and hopefully that left leg is okay.
It almost looked like this landing took her by surprise. She doesn't look super crooked, maybe a little turn of the hips, but when you're on a 4-inch wide beam and you're off by just a centimeter or a half an inch, it's so easy for that leg to slip down. Tough break.
A tough end to Ashley Claire Kearney's SEC campaign, and the hopes of the SEC all-around title go with that fall. Back to the bars, Michelle Stout scored a career best 9-9 this season against Kentucky.
Arkansas this year is much deeper from start to finish on every event. They have a good balance of difficulty and consistency. That's what has made them so strong this year. It's now a double Arabian, a blind landing, and she absolutely nails it. That's pretty impressive.
A lot can happen for Arkansas, who have 2 rotations left.
Michelle is such a talented athlete. Very aggressive throughout this bar routine and a solid landing.
Big score, 9-9 for Michelle Stout. And of course, there's a lot of gutsy athletes at this championship battling through injuries, but this one certainly at the top of the list. Corey Hartung really wanted to compete in the all-around.
We weren't sure if she was going to be able to compete after struggling for the last couple weeks with a 3rd-degree strain of that calf muscle. I asked Rhonda Fain the day before this competition if she thought she would go. She said, you know what, we might want to rest her. We have to think ahead to regionals and the national championships. We need her to be healthy. But you know what, Corey told me she wants to compete.
This is her first floor performance since February 20th.
Just a few days ago, she was able to get through some sort of a routine in practice, so she's working on limited practice right now as well. Each tumbling pass will be a concern here, but the endurance is an issue as well. You have not been training with full routines in the gym day after day. You get plenty tired by this final tumbling pass. She's going hard. Whip 2.5 twist. Big smile on her face. She's enjoying this moment. What a tough fight for this Florida team.
Corey Hartung wraps up her SEC career in brilliant fashion.
I spoke to several of the athletes before this competition. They said the injuries have really brought the team closer. And that paid off here today, opening with a front double twist, a little bit crooked there, but overall a fantastic routine.
A 9.925, her 2nd highest mark of the season, and that should place her in the top 5 with that injury in the all-around. Here's Susan Jackson on the beam for LSU. She's had some terrific scores as well.
LSU has had one fall here, so she needs a hit for the team. She told us her gymnastics this year is easy for her. She says she feels almost robotic in it, and that's exactly what she needs to be here on the beam. She needs to rely on that muscle memory. Try to block out the pressures. Nails the front tuck. Major confidence brimming from her. She looks like she's in the zone. She has a risky dismount, the double back. There it is, nails the landing. I think that's the first double back we've seen nailed like that tonight.
What a meet it has been for Susan Jackson.
The round-off is important in terms of keeping square to get good power and a good foot placement. You can see her. She's looking for the ground. She knows exactly where it is, nails the landing, not a step.
Her 9.9 gives her the top all-around score as we head towards the final rotation. It is the Gators with a lead in the clubhouse. 196.75 will be the mark that Alabama and Georgia look to top when we come back for rotation 7. The 2009 championship will be decided here in rotation 7. Florida, Alabama, Georgia all in contention. And what a job it has been for the Georgia Bulldogs battling back in Suzanne Yachtlin's final SEC championship. The way it started off was really a nightmare for the Bulldogs.
And Suzanne was not thrilled to have to start on beam, but she was confident with their ability, and rightfully so. They were ranked #1 in the country up until this point. And 3 different athletes have scored a 10 this year, but today, beam was not their friend. 2 falls in the first 2 athletes up. That's a rough start.
Yeah, ever since the Bulldogs have been battling back, they've posted terrific scores, and we see they'll finish up on the bars.
Alabama had the best draw, starting on a bye and finishing up on floor. Now the pressure's off a little bit. They can really let loose and give it their all to try and win this SEC title.
Here's Catherine Ding for Georgia. Georgia, the #1 team in the country on the bars. They posted a season-high 49.55, and that is the type of effort they will need to win their 17th SEC title.
They are trailing Alabama by 0.4, so it is not over yet, but they do have their work cut out for them here. They need to be near perfect. Catherine Ding, she's a freshman, a very talented athlete who also contributes on vault and on beam. But this is her best event. And so far, every handstand has been in vertical. Looking for the dismount, double layout. Almost comes in a little bit short, but finds a nailed landing. Fantastic routine for Catherine Ding.
Great effort from the freshman from Sparks, Nevada.
She has pretty good difficulty in this routine, but also what she does is a very high quality. Nice extension in all of her lines, and of course that nailed landing. That's just that exclamation point at the end of the routine.
That's the big score they're looking for. Ones like those, 9.925. Meanwhile, it's Alabama looking for their 6th SEC title. They're 11th in the country on the floor. They scored a season-high 49.45. Their average score 49.036. If they can get just above that, they'll be able to seal the deal. Here's the freshman, Geraldine Stack-Eden.
Nice opening pass, a double Arabian. Alabama struggled to break the 49 mark on this event at the start of the season, but lately they have been hot. In their last meet, they improved their score by almost a full point compared to the first meet of the season. Tumbling pass, a front layout, not huge difficulty there. But right now, Alabama is just looking to be clean and consistent. Sometimes it takes the whole season to really get polished on this event and to gain that endurance so that you can really get after all the landings on the tumbling. Taking a deep breath before the final tumbling pass. Endurance-wise, this is the most difficult. It's a double pike.
Crimson Tide fans love it. What a start. Geraldine Stack-Eden, the freshman, comes through.
The opening pass was a risky one. It's a double Arabian. If you're a little bit too pumped, you can easily step over the line there for an out-of-bounds deduction, or if you open up early, you can sit it down for a fall. Today she's on.
And a score of a 9.9. Here's Lindsey Bucket in her final SEC performance.
Auburn needs over a 49.325 to catch LSU and over a 49.525 to catch Florida. Their season high on this event is a 49.275, so they need to be better than their best. Excellent Yurchenko full, but she does take the step on the landing. An automatic 1/10 deduction there. You can hear her explode from the vaulting table. Excellent technique in terms of not rushing the twist. She gets good height first, but does take the step.
Bucket score 9.85 in Arkansas, and Michelle Stout now on the beam.
Arkansas is in the mix for a top 3 finish here. They can't hold back. They must do each routine like they're in the gym practicing. Difficult task. Oh, front tuck way too low. Under rotates, falls on the beam. It's a 5/10 deduction. You definitely see she's nervous. She missed the connection of her switch leap to a straddle jump. It's very difficult when you make a mistake early in the routine. Get your momentum back, to get your rhythm back.
Arkansas already has a fall at this point, so there was a lot of pressure on Michelle Stout to perform that perfect routine.
Arkansas is a very talented team, had their best season so far, but I think it takes a lot more experience to be able to win at this level. Back tuck to a straddle jump. Teams like Georgia and Alabama and Florida, they've been in this position to win the SEC title year after year. They know how to get it done. Great season for Arkansas. Good meet today for 3 events. Tough job on beam. Here's a look at that front tuck. You can see it goes wrong right from the start. She's flat on her takeoff. It's long and low. Not enough height to complete the rotation. She falls backward on her landing on the beam. And from there, she looked nervous throughout the rest of the routine. She was hesitant on almost every skill.
And a rough score for Michelle Stout. Gym Dog fans praying for a miracle. The final routines when we come back. The final rotation in Suzanne Yachtlin's final SEC championship, and they were looking for a big score on the bar, and so far, the Gym Dogs have produced. We'll see what Tiffany Tolnay can do here.
She's set up nicely to get that big score. Her teammates have averaged over a 9.825, including a 9.925 from Catherine Ding. Initial release element, front giant into a Jaeger. Beautiful job of her bail to handstand, hitting that vertical position perfectly. Oh, short on that final handstand. She's clean and sharp. She has good competitive experience here. We'll see if it pays off in the dismount. Just a step there. Only about a 1/2 deduction for that last handstand and about a 10th deduction for the step. Here's a look at that release element. Assistant coach Jay Clark, who will be taking over this program. You can see him stepping in there just in case she misses that release.
Tolnay scored 9.9, so Georgia still in search of that big score. There are 2 competitors left for Alabama, and Ashley Priest, who has struggled in her first SEC championship, has a chance to seal the deal and win the title for the Crimson Tide if she can post a score here.
Opens with a double tuck. A little bit simple in terms of the difficulty. We may see Alabama watering down just slightly here, looking for consistent routines. Like you said, Ashley's had a rough time tonight. She had a fall on beam, almost a miss on bars. Now she has the opportunity to step up big time for her team and maybe solidify this SEC team title. Fantastic choreography. It's pretty unique, but at the same time, it's clean. Excellent job on a tuck double. Fully completed, no deductions.
The final pass for Priest.
line. Excellent double pike. Fantastic routine.
That should do it. The freshman who struggled tonight comes through in the clutch for the Crimson Tide. Will wait for the score.
Not a lot of risk in this routine, but it is pleasing in terms of its clean form. The choreography was fantastic. She normally does bigger difficulty, but today they just needed a solid routine and a big score there.
Big score for the Crimson Tide, 9-9, and Alabama is going to win their 6th SEC Gymnastics Championship. Meanwhile, Courtney Kupets in search of the SEC all-around title.
What a great night Courtney has had tonight. While her teammates missed on beam, she was solid as can be, showing no signs of pressure. On floor, beautiful combination pass there, and this vault was outstanding, almost perfect. 9.95, beautiful height in the air and a stuck landing.
So it all comes down to this for Courtney Kupets. Can she wrap up her SEC career with the SEC all-around title?
Top full to Tkachev, dead on. Just hit every handstand, just the dismount. Double layout, oh my goodness, what a great night for Courtney Kupets. There's no stopping her.
What a career it has been for the Georgia senior.
Somewhat of a bittersweet ending for her. This team title will not be Georgia's, but the all-around with a 9.975, it's hers.
A score of 39.775 as far as the all-around is concerned for Courtney Kupets. We move to the floor, and Morgan Dennis, who's had a great night for Alabama.
Courtney Kupets was unbeatable tonight, but for Morgan, she has a shot at second in the all-around for the 2nd straight year. What a night. Beautiful Yurchenko layout full vault, nice and high on that piked Jaeger. So with 3 strong events in the bucket, she now needs a 9.95 or higher to tie Susan Jackson for 2nd place in the all-around. And the good news is Alabama has this team title. It is finally theirs.
Pressure's off, so that should help her.
Absolutely. At this point, it's a matter of pride as well to want to come out and do the best floor routine you can possibly do. Opening pass is out of this world. Fantastic job on her double layout. She makes that skill look easy. Front to a double back.
Alabama really opened up this championship right from the get-go and showcased how solid they were right from when they started off with the vault.
You know, Alabama struggled a little bit at the beginning of this season, but we saw them a couple weeks ago when they competed against Auburn, and I think that was a turning point in their season. You could really see them come on strong. They had a fantastic meet that night. They got a few athletes who have been injured back in their lineup, and that really pumped up their confidence, and now it's paying off here. They peaked at this competition. Final pass, a double back, a great routine.
What a performance for Morgan Dennis. Will it be enough to catch Susan Jackson?
Morgan Dennis is the defending SEC champion on this event. She was also the national champion in 2007, and you can see why. This opening pass was just brilliant. A double layout, the 2nd rotation flies above the first one. That's how you do it.
A 9.95, so she has tied Susan Jackson, and Alabama celebrates their 6th SEC Gymnastics Championship. And for Suzanne Yachtland, the swan song is not sweet, as her Georgia Bulldogs will finish as the runner-up.
And Florida slips into third position with only 7 athletes competing. We saw some tough fights here, but their will was the most impressive today.
Suzanne Yocklin over to congratulate the Crimson Tide and Sarah Patterson. What a night it was for Alabama. We'll wrap things up from Nashville after this. So we wrap up another terrific SEC Gymnastics Championship, and what a meet it was. 6 teams entered this championship in the top 11 in the country, including Georgia, the #1 team. But it was Alabama pulling off the upset, their first SEC championship since 2003. And Suzanne Yocklin congratulating Sarah Patterson just a moment ago. Alabama scores a 197.3, Georgia a 196.925 after their struggles on the beam. And the Gators finished third with all their injuries, a 196.750. What a start it was for Alabama on the vault. They shot right out of the gate with a big score of 49.45, which set the tone for the night. They're also the only team at these championships to score a 49 on the beam. Lori Strong-Ballard is with our winners.
Congratulations, Alabama, on an SEC championship victory. What an outstanding night. And Sarah, it seems like there were some ups and downs this year in your season, but you really started to build momentum at the end of the season, and you peaked at the right time. What are your thoughts on the meet today and how your team performed?
You know, I'm so proud of our ladies. We've had a motto of finish strong, and the last 4 weeks, I think that's what we've been building towards. And you know, we have a lot of upperclassmen on this team that were finished second last year by .025 of a point. And we've lost some close meets this year, and we just talked about finishing strong. And I could not be more proud of the teamwork that we did tonight, because it is a total team that won this championship.
It seemed like beam was the undoing for many teams here, and you guys were the only team out there to break that 49 mark. How important, how key was that event in this victory?
Well, I think there's a lot of pressure, and this has been our best event this year. So even though the scores weren't quite as high on balance beam, we won the beam event, and that's what championships are made of.
And Morgan, it was your floor team that capped off the night tonight. A fantastic job there. But it really did seem like this was a team effort. When a mistake was made tonight, other people picked up the slack. Was there a moment tonight that you guys really felt, hey, you know what? I think we've got this?
Yeah, definitely. After the third rotation, we all went into the locker room and just, rallied together. We knew we had it after beam. We just had to go out here and just perform like we had nothing to lose, and that's what we did.
Well, congratulations. How does it feel, Alabama, to take back this title?
Alabama celebrating their 6th SEC Gymnastics Championship. What a meet it was for the Georgia Bulldogs. A gutsy performance after a slow start. Back-to-back falls to begin the competition on the beam. They scored just a 48.6, but after that, 49.325, 49.5, and a 49.5. They were electric in their final 3 rotations, yet they come up short, despite the fact that Courtney Kupets is named the SEC All-Around Champion. Lori Strong-Ballard is with Suzanne Yocklin.
Well, Suzanne, maybe not the finish that you would have liked to your career. You guys got off to a little bit of a rough start on beam, and it was hard to catch up after that. What do you think of the performance tonight?
Well, first of all, it's not the end of my career until national championship, so we're going to come back stronger and better. You just cannot have 2 falls and those many mistakes on balance beam and dig yourself that deep of a hole in a championship meet and come out on top. There's just no way. And I knew that, but there is no way that I would let those girls quit on this meet. You got to fight for every tenth, because it's a heck of a lot better to be second than to be third or fourth. And I learned that a long time ago. So you fight for every tenth till the end. And I'm really proud of them for doing that. Coming back strong on floor exercise, which is really our weakest event. It just wasn't, too much too late. So, luckily we have the national championships, and we've won a couple national titles when we've lost SECs.
Well, congratulations on a great career, and good luck at Nationals.
Thank you. And Alabama was awesome tonight.
Yes.
Thank you.
Courtney Kupets, the SEC All-Around Champion. She closes out her senior campaign, and what a performance it was for her. A 9.95 on the vault, a 9.975 on the uneven bars, a 9.9 on the balance beam, and a 9.95 on the floor exercise. A tremendous performance by the #1 gymnast in the country. Lori Strong-Ballard is down on the floor with Courtney Kupets.
Courtney, it was a tough fight in the team competition, but the great news for you is that you take home this all-around victory after coming back from a really tough Achilles tendon injury. In your senior year, you win the all-around title. Is that a little bit of a consolation prize?
Definitely constellation. I don't know if I would call it a prize right at this point, but definitely, you know, I couldn't ask for anything more. My team just put their all into every single event after that beam, and we were fighters out there, and it was amazing.
It was definitely a fight to the end. Congratulations and good luck at Nationals.
Thank you.
Here's a look at our award winners. The Athlete of the Year, Courtney Kupets. SEC Freshman of the Year, Whitney Rose. The Scholar Athlete of the Year, Grace Taylor. And SEC Coach of the Year, Suzanne Yakla, in her final season at Georgia. Well, it was another terrific championship in the Southeastern Conference. 6 out of the top 11 teams in the nation gathered at the SoMe Center in Nashville. And it was Alabama upsetting the #1 team in the country. That'll do it for Lori Strong-Ballard. Bernie Gunther saying so long from Nashville. Congratulations to the Crimson Tide on their 6th SEC title.